Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to check in with Bulldog women's basketball and joined by head coach Kurt Westendorp. And Coach, welcome to the show.
Glad to be back.
I know hard to believe, but just played your final 2 regular season home games at Wink Arena this past weekend and a couple tight, highly contested ball games.
Yeah, coming into the week, we knew that based on how the games went, at Wayne and at Saginaw the first time around, they're both going to be tightly contested, and that's exactly what the fans got. One possession game, on Thursday night that could have gone either way depending on how the last shot dropped, and then Saginaw played fairly well, but again, it went right down to the wire again, came down to those final 2 minutes. So an entertaining week of basketball. It's unfortunate we were on the wrong side of that, but definitely got some good memories with Chloe Idoni getting her 1,000th point. Some things that we can take away from it as we get ready for these last 3.
Obviously, kind of like the men's team we mentioned with Coach Bronkema, you guys would typically be celebrating Senior Day, but no seniors as they all plan to come back next year.
It's really a different situation. I don't know that. I think we were in that spot a little bit, during the COVID year where we were bringing back most players and we weren't allowed to have fans anyway to honor them for seniors. But yeah, it's a unique situation. We have a couple seniors on our roster, but one will be graduating and continuing on in graduate school, and then one still has another year to do student teaching. So we've known all along that we're going to be bringing back this whole crew and then a couple of new pieces that we already have signed. So it makes it for definitely a unique look to end the year, because usually it's like this time of the year you're playing for your seniors, you're playing for the last time that they get a chance to be out there, but we're really kind of playing that so that we can just keep improving, keep gaining these valuable experiences that a lot of these young teams need, a lot of our players need to gain. And while it was a little bit of a growing pain week for us, it'll benefit us in the long run.
As we go to the highlights, we'll start with Thursday's game against Wayne State, and you mentioned playing this team for the second time in just a couple weeks.
Yeah, the game at their place, the ball was in the air when the buzzer sounded, and by the time the ball fell, that was deciding the game, and this one was the exact same thing. So when the buzzer sounded, you didn't know who won or lost until that ball hit the ground. So unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of both of those, but it was an excellent game, back and forth. I think Wayne State, they've definitely improved as the year has gone on. They got a really tough matchup for us in Shea Tripp, and she had an excellent game, and just a game where we struggled shooting the ball a little bit. Here most of the highlights, to see us doing some really nice things, but we kind of struggled to find our rhythm offensively in that first half.
Obviously, on a positive note, Deshauna Day back in the lineup for you, had 16 points here and really played well.
Yeah, she's a big spark for us. She gives us a ton of energy, because she's always sprinting the floor. She does a great job of getting up and down. Defensively, it kind of puts us back where we like to be with our matchups, because she's usually the defender that's guarding the other team's best player on the perimeter. And it also just puts us in some better spots where she can really get to the basket. She can drive and kick. She knocked down a couple threes. It was nice to be at full strength.
Obviously, one of those games where the first half back and forth, a 1-point game here between the two teams at halftime.
Yeah, and as you're seeing, like even some of the clips that are going right now, like so many of these plays that they're making defensively, we're just a half step away from where we need to be. Just a half step away, and I mean, when you're playing a good team that can knock down shots like Wayne State, they made us pay for most of those mistakes that we made. They were able to capitalize on them. So unfortunately, that put us in a little bit of a hole where we had to come back.
Wayne State on the inside, maybe a little more size to try to match up with Chloe than some teams have.
Yeah, that's kind of a struggle for us this entire year. Is almost everybody that we play has a little more size than us. We knew it coming in, and then the way that we really need to play to be at our best, we have to play a little bit smaller. So Shea Tripp, like I said, she had an excellent game. There's a really tough shot by Becca Fugate. There's not a lot that you can do about that. But they were able to kind of swarm. You can see right there trying to double Chloe, making her give it up. She had a decent game, but they definitely didn't let her get in as big of a rhythm as she usually does. But we still gave ourselves chances. There's a nice play by Kenzie, having her eyes up, finding Shauna, knocking down a tough shot. We were able to take it right down to the wire, but just too many times we weren't able to quite get the stops to be able to completely overcome the deficit.
Obviously, one of those games where you had a couple opportunities, maybe right at the end, to have a chance to win the ball game.
Yeah, it was really frantic last 3 minutes. It was really a tough game. Tough game for us to get really in the flow, and it was just possession by possession. But when we started to press a little bit, we got some steals. Chloe got a great deflection to kind of get us a steal with 4 seconds to go. We got the ball in her hands. We had a great shot that she, I think she would typically make. Wasn't able to go down, but then we got the offensive rebound and another chance, and then another offensive rebound and another chance. And to go 0 for 3 in the last 4 seconds, that it's a tough pill to swallow. But I'm proud of the fight that we had to get ourselves, at least give us that opportunity.
Of course, here we see the highlights of Saturday's game, red out contest here for the Bulldogs, and wearing the red road jerseys here at home.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a unique look, but we love the synergy when we can partner with different people across our campus, and they can utilize our events to really raise awareness, to raise some money. So we're always on board to partner with our campus partners.
Saginaw Valley State here on the road got off to a great start and a talented team offensively.
Yeah, they really shot the heck out of the ball that first quarter. I mean, I think they shot close to 70% from the floor. You know, a few run-outs, but then again, just we were one step away from where we really need to be on the defensive side, and they made us pay. Now, we were able to make some defensive adjustments, play a little bit more of a diamond and one, you know, kind of take the ball out of the rookie's hands here a little bit, because she's one of the best players in the league. And even that last play right there is just a great example of we're defending fairly well. Just got to make plays on the basketball. Just really got to find a way to come down with it. So proud that we stuck in with it, but defensively, that first quarter really set us back.
Obviously, you mentioned they get off to a 26-10 lead in the first quarter and really had to expend a lot of energy coming back to have a chance here in the ballgame.
Yeah, but defensively, being able to play a little bit of the junk D, playing a little bit of the diamond and one, it kind of mitigates that a little bit, where you're not chasing them around all the time. You know, whoever's playing the one in the diamond and one or box and one is doing a lot of chasing. But we were able to change that player a little bit. But then we kept the foot on the pedal offensively in the second half. You know, we scored 31 points in that fourth quarter, and the game kind of became a little bit like the Wayne State game was, but more for the last 5 minutes, where it just became chaos. It became where we were trying to get steals, pressing, you know, trying to really take a few more risks than you might typically take. So I think we cut it down, a couple different times. You know, had the basketball, a chance to cut it to one possession. But, you know, Saginaw stepped up and made some plays down the stretch and hit their free throws to make it the final margin.
AD-71, the final score. And you mentioned earlier Chloe Idoni, her 1,000th career point, a great accomplishment for her.
Yeah, it's amazing for her to get 1,000 points in less than 3 years on the court. You know, people might not remember, but she missed her entire, what would be her sophomore campaign with a knee injury that took her almost an entire year to recover from. You know, it wasn't the typical ACL injury, so she had to go through a long rehab. She had to sit out, watch, you know, kind of like a couple of our players right now are having to do, but, you know, she's attacked her rehab. Last year, she was getting herself back healthy, you know, and this year, her work ethic has really taken her to a complete different level. You know, she's really expanded her game in different ways that she can score, and she's getting rewarded for it, which is great to see.
Obviously, this week, just one game at Lake Superior State, and a lot of goals still out there in front of you as you head into the final 3 games.
Absolutely. We're jockeying for that playoff seeding right now. So we know that we'll be that 4, 5, or 6 slot based on kind of how things are set up right now. So we still have an outside chance to get that home game, but it's very much an outside chance. But we just got to focus on playing a little bit better basketball and finishing these games off. You know, we had a good game against Lake State the first time. You know, that was a few weeks ago. It was probably the beginning of January, I think it was. So a little bit of time has passed. So we got to really review what we did well against them. But it's kind of nice only playing one game this week, because, you know, we need a little bit of a mental break. You know, need a little bit of a physical break, let our bodies recover, let our minds recover, you know, really come back fresh tomorrow. We gave the girls an extra day off just to really get their minds back to where, you know, we can be focused in every practice that we have, because we know that these 3 remaining, they're going to set us up for that conference tournament. And we really believe that we can be a dangerous tournament that can beat anybody once we get there.
Well, Coach, thanks for the time. Best of luck this Saturday at Lake Superior.
All right. Thank you, Rob.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.